Good morning, student. Today we are going to learn about the volumetric equation, disadvantage of gas chromatography, and the application. So today we learn about the volumetric equation. Before that we proceed, let us learn about the term which is being used in gas chromatography. With that respect, I will be teaching you today retention time, retention factor, retention volume, capacity factor, and selectivity factor, and how they are important. So look here, before we start about this term, let us learn about the basic principle. How does a separation happen between the column? So look here, the distribution of the sample between the phases, the two phases, mobile phase and stationary phase, can be described as with the equation of equilibrium, as the mobile phase and to the stationary phase. The meaning is that the sample or the analyte is keep moving in between the mobile phase and the stationary phase, as such that the sample which spend more time into the stationary phase elute late, and the sample which spend more time in mobile phase comes or eluted faster. So there is an equilibrium attained between the mobile phase and the stationary phase. So with that respect, there is something called, when there is equilibrium, you get an equilibrium constant called K, and that's called partition coefficient. So now we define that it is the molar concentration of analyte in the stationary phase and the molar concentration of analyte in the mobile phase. So this is what is a equilibrium constant, right? So now let us come to the retention time. What is a retention time? It's a time between the sample injection and the analyte peak reaching a detector at the end of the column is termed as retention time. Each analyte in a sample have different retention time. Here something called retention time of a mobile phase, right? So the retention time of mobile phase is a time taken for the mobile phase to pass through the column. So whenever you perform the study of a sample, make sure that you pass the mobile phase first, so that you can find out that and you can get a base peak line attended in a straight line, so that you can come to know there's nothing pending into the column. So this is what is a retention time TR and the retention time of mobile phase denoted by TM, which I mentioned in my note. Let us now come to retention factor. What is a retention factor? So retention factor is nothing but is a time, or it's a migrating of analyte on the column, right? It can be described as the migration rate of analyte on a column. So how do you calculate this? You calculate this by TR. What was the TR? TR is the time, retention time of a sample minus the retention time of mobile phase divided by the retention time, right? So you get in a certain fraction, and that is denoted by Ka, or you called it kappa A, right? So this is retention factor. It's also called capacity factor. So how it is important? It's important to know that how will be the elution of the sample, right? So when you calculate this, you will get an idea. So it has been noted here, if the retention time is very high, it is that the sample is very difficult to separate, and if the retention time is very low, the elution is very fast, and retention to determine again become very difficult. So ideally, a high retention factor greater than 20 means the elution takes a very long time. Ideally, the retention time of analyte should be between 1 to 5. So in order to get about the selectivity factor, right, what we do, we divide the retention time of sample or the two sample, right, which is there in the mixture, right? So it is retention time of sample B divided by retention time of a sample A. So when calculating the selectivity factor, it will let you know that which elute fast, right? The selectivity factor should be always greater than 1, and you have to take those sample which elute fast, right? So now with these terms you could be aware that what is a retention time, what is a retention factor, what is selectivity factor, and how is the equilibrium attained in this. With that respect, you can come to know about all the term which is, almost the terms which is used in the gas chromatography. Let us come to now about the how does the separation happen, right? So there was two concepts given for the separation is happening into the gas chromatography. One was plate theory or plate model theory, or the other is called rate theory of chromatography. So in plate theory, it has been supposed that the column contain a large number of separating layer called theoretical plate, right? And separate equilibrization of a sample between the stationary phase and mobile phase occur in this plate. And the analyte move down the column by transfer of equilibrated mobile phase from one plate to the next. And they assume that the length of the column is only the factor which governs the height of the theoretical plate. So greater the height of the theoretical plate, lesser is the efficiency was noted, whereas the number is high, the efficiency was larger. So HETP, height equivalent to theoretical plate, was calculated by a formula called L by N. L is nothing but is the length of the column, and N is the number of theoretical plate, whereas the N, or the number of theoretical plate, is calculated by formula. Is a Gaussian based formula which you will learn in a normal distribution curve, which has given this formula that number of theoretical plate is equal to 5.5 into the retention time divided by the width of the peak, half of the width of the peak square. When you divide this, you get a number of theoretical plate, and it will give you how many exactly HETP is present. So L by N, right? Number of length of the column and number of the theoretical plates will give you how much is the height of theoretical plate. So smaller the theoretical plate is, a better is the separation. So when you look into the peak obtained in this, it's a broad one, right? So the broadening should not be more, right? The band broadening must be limited. It should not go beyond, right? So in such cases, the most of the concept related to that was failed, and later on that concept was given was called rate theory of chromatography, right? It was given by Vondermeter. So in this, the HETP is equal to, in the previous the HETP was L by N, here HETP is equal to A plus B divided by mu plus C into U. So what is mu here? Mu is basically the velocity, average velocity of the mobile phase, where A, B, C are the other factor contributes the migration of the mobile phase. So A is nothing but is a ED diffusion, B is longitudinal diffusion, and C is the resistance of mass transfer. So what is a ED diffusion? If we look into the ED diffusion, you will come to know about that when the mobile phase is traveling through the column, it is not following the normal path, right? The such solenoid will take a different path through the stationary phase at random. So this causes the broadening, right? The next one is longitudinal diffusion. The meaning is that when you look into the sample concentration, the sample concentration into the center of column is more as compared to the side of the column. So what happened? There may be keep on diffusion of the higher concentration towards the lower concentration, which gives the broadening of a peak. And then what is the resistance to mass transfer? It is the band of the analyte which is broadened because of the equilibrium between the stationary phase and mobile phase, right? So the analyte takes certain amount of time to equilibrate between these two, right? So if the velocity of the mobile is very high, the analyte has a strong affinity for the stationary phase, then the analyte in the mobile phase move ahead of the analyte and equilibrium will not be attained. So this is how A, B, C is related, and mu is the average velocity through which it is moving. Now this is the equation, right? Is called Vondermeter equation. Means they say that what could be the exact height, or when you plate the graph between the plate of height and the mobile phase mu, You can look that the purple color one is a one which is desirable, right? So if you increase one of the factor like only the height, or if you increase only the velocity, or if you increase the longitudinal diffusion, one parameter is not going to work out to increase the efficiency of the suppression. So you have to look about the optimum, right? So optimum can be obtained by only the if you maintain all three parameters. So this is one dimensional equation is. So let us now come to the next one. What are the disadvantage? So the biggest disadvantage, right? Sorry, I forgot to talk about the resolution. I have given you the formula here. Resolution is a 2 into the retention time of sample B minus the retention time of sample A divided by the width of the peak of A to the width of the peak B, right? If you add this two and divide, it gives you resolution. So make sure the resolution is 1.5. You know, in order to have a better suppression, you have to have a value 1.5. So resolution is defined as it is a describe the suppression of band center. It does not take into account the peak width. Another measure to how well the species have been separated is provided by the measurement of resolution, right? The resolution of two peaks A and B can be identified by this equation. So this is how you get the calculation of resolution, right? And then resolution, the useful of resolution is related to the number of plate into the column, and the selectivity factor and the retention factor are the two parameters which can be calculated with this. So let us come about the what is a selectivity factor. So the selectivity factor can be manipulated to improve the suppression, and it is calculated by the it can be calculated by knowing the resolution and the resolution capacity of the two samples. For more of this, you can solve out the problem which is there in the school, and there are a number of problem which has been given in that, and then your concept could be little clear how the mathematically this all can be calculated. So let us learn about the other parameters, right? That is disadvantage of gas chromatography. So what is the biggest disadvantage of gas chromatography? It is limited to volatile sample. If the sample is not volatile, you cannot get the gas chromatography done. It is not suitable for the thermolabile sample. Means if sample is degraded by heat, it is not suitable. Sample be soluble and do not react with the column, right? So when you heat it, this should not make a certain changes within the sample itself, so the suppression become tough. And during injection of the gaseous sample, a proper attention is required. So these are the greatest disadvantage of gas chromatography. What is the application? It is used for qualitative analysis. By looking at the retention time and retention volume, one can find out what is the sample, provided you maintain the mobile phase as prescribed. And it can also help in a quantitative analysis by calculating the peak area, right? The peak area is proportional to the quantity of the detected component. And the other factor which can be determined by gas chromatography is pesticides and certain dairy products, pollutant like carbon monoxide, DDT, and certain microbial sample also can be separated. Certain inorganic sample can be separated, and suppression and identification of volatile material, plastic, natural and synthetic polymers, paints can be done through this. Thank you. Take care.